Hi and welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm just going to be talking about what's changed lately with CICs. So the CIC world, and especially the grant world and grant funding, is always changing, and so I wanted to do this video to give you an update, and we're going to be covering stuff like the main grant funders, what's changing with them. We're going to be talking about the whole crisis with local councils and how that is affecting funding and affecting community projects. So I'm going to be talking about that and what's to come, what we're expecting when it comes to government funding, and what are the priority areas, for instance, the levelling up areas. So I'm going to be covering that in this video, so it's super useful. Please hit the subscribe button if you like this video, and if you want to know more about CICs and how to set one up, go over to my website. I've got a membership, I've got the course of how to set up a CIC and get grant funded in 4 months, or you can book a call with me. So that aside, let's get into it. Right, there's a lot changing at the moment. So we've gone into the new year, and I have definitely noticed a shift when it comes to grant funding. So I'm going to talk about that first. So grant funding, obviously loads of CICs, especially when they first set up, rely on grant funding. So what are the trends? Well, I'm definitely noticing that the grant funders are almost playing a little bit of a game of hard to get. They're almost turning people down at the first hurdle and accepting them on the second or third try. So don't be surprised if you get turned down for National Lottery or Arts Council first time. You get given feedback and they welcome you to reapply straight away. This is completely normal, and I really think they're doing it on purpose so that word doesn't get out that it's really easy. Now, you can still totally meet your targets if you get turned down the first time, because a lot of them, they're assessing them quite fast these days, about 6 to 8 weeks. So 6 to 8 weeks, you get the result, and then you're chucking them back in. And then what we're finding is they're actually assessing them on the second round quicker because they've already been through once, especially with the lottery. Sometimes community fund are coming back with questions, and then you just got to answer their questions, and then they go and send it to somebody to finally assess. So that's all working out as being quite normal at the moment. People are still getting funded, but I definitely think that you need to watch some of my videos, pay attention to some of those things that are common rejections, so that you can hopefully avoid that rejection first time. So again, I've got other videos on that, but do go and recap. But just to say quickly, the main things are you need to detail that you're hitting their priorities. So really think about what have they said is their priorities. How does my project fit that? And almost design a project that deliberately fits it, rather than come up with a project and try to shove a square peg through a round hole. Actually think, okay, no, what is it they're looking at? I'm going to design a project that actually meets that target. So think about it that way round instead. The other thing is definitely about quantifying. So they want to know how many all the time. They want to know how many people you're benefiting, how many people in your community you've spoken to. You need to quantify these in numbers. If you don't put the numbers in, they 100% will reject you. So you need to say, we've done 100 surveys. We had an open day, 200 people went. We did a steering group with 8 people. We've got X partners. So you need to say all of that detail. So do remember the details. So those are the common things. The only thing I also would say is about budgets. So everybody at the moment, public money is tight. So they want to make sure that they're spending it well. We have gone past an era where money is just dished out. So you need to prove that you are value for money. So make sure you are value for money. Always say you get 3 quotes. Always say I've got 3 quotes minimum. So that really will help your budgets go through. So the next difference is there's definitely a shift when it comes to grant funding about what area you're in. So I'm noticing that postcodes matter. Postcodes definitely matter. They actually are saying, all of the main funders are saying that they're looking at postcodes. They will also look at your postcode and see what else they funded in that area. And if they funded something similar, they won't give it to you. So you need to make sure you are unique. So be unique, and also you can't always help your postcode, but sometimes you can. If you know that your area is a bit more affluent, you could go do your workshop in a more deprived area, in a community centre, in a more deprived area. So think about that. So think about flipping it so that you're in a different area. One thing I will say is that they are levelling up the north at the moment. Definitely levelling up the north. Also the West Midlands is renowned for being more deprived now, and they're definitely focusing some cash around the West Midlands. Now, the next interesting development is about councils going under. So you've seen that Birmingham City Council is bankrupt, and loads of the other councils are also almost on the brink of bankruptcy. And that means there are major cuts. Birmingham City Council literally announced that they are cutting all arts and culture spending. Got rid of it all. None of it. It's all gone. So that means that there is a void there. So they won't be funding any of that. But it also means that other funding may come into that area because that's been cut. So it could be both a negative and a positive for you, in that you may be able to access other funding because other funding will be prioritised. So just factor in that all the local councils are being affected. A lot of you are being affected by the fact that libraries are closing. So for instance, in Birmingham, I think 1 in 4 libraries are going to be closing. Now, that's a huge knock if you're losing community space, community rooms. Now, that does also pose an opportunity for you, in that a CIC can pivot itself and take over a library from the council. So the council are having to sell off a lot of these assets, get rid of them. Now, they will be doing that incredibly cheaply because they are so broke. So that means they may sell them for £1. So this could put you in a good position to take over some community buildings. I mean, I read that Birmingham is going to be getting rid of a huge amount of community centres and libraries. So definitely keep an eye on that and see if your CIC may be able to take those over. So that's one thing. I would say that when you hit these times of economic problems, for you as a CIC owner, it like I said before, it almost gives like opportunities, and there are obviously struggles. So how do you position yourself well? Just prepare for it, so you know what's coming, you know what's going to be going. So could you pivot yourself in that space to take it over, so and fill a gap? So a lot of the grant funders are looking to fund CICs that are filling a gap. So now there is still money out there. Don't ever think this country is broke. I don't know what's going on with these councils and why they badly spent so badly. But there is still money there. There's still loads of money there. And we've got money coming in from various different other pots. Obviously, we've still got central government and other things. So don't ever think this country is broke, because there's definitely more money floating around. And again, you just need to pivot yourself and make sure you're in the right space at the right time. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is competition. So more people know about CICs, probably because of people like me. But more people know about CICs. So there's definitely more CICs coming out. And what I would say is you need to be unique as well. You need to be solving a problem. You need to be unique. And again, because you are going to be coming up against more competition, there is definitely more competition now. And there's more, they're wanting you to do more as well, like the grant funders and all that. They're wanting to see more. They're wanting you to evaluate. They need to see impact. They want to see what you're doing. So you really need to prove what you're doing. So you can't just come up with a fluffy idea and just say, oh, I plan to do this. You need to go out there, talk to your community, evidence it, prove that you can do this. So you want to try to get a couple simple projects under your belt, a couple of workshops, maybe some little events under your belt first, and then start building things up, building that momentum. So there is competition, yes, but then on the other hand, it doesn't matter if there's competition. As long as you're unique and you're doing your thing and you do it well, it doesn't matter. Just like I said, just make sure you pivot yourself so you're slightly more unique. So I hope that helped, and if you're interested in more about tips and stuff like that, remember I do have a membership, and I also, where you can Q&A with me, and I also have my calls as well, so you can always book a call.